Hello, everyone. Welcome to our unnamed show where we discuss various Mega Man topics. I'm Coleman X, and I'm joined by Twitch from Reploid Revo.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey, and today we're going to discuss Rockman X DiVE because it's the flavor of the month right now.
Yeah, that's right. Rockman X DiVE was recently announced, as I'm sure everyone in the Mega Man community has, already found out. And yeah, we're gonna be looking into it today, discussing it, putting out some thoughts, ideas, hopes, and dreams, and see what comes of it.
Yeah, let's just start right at the beginning. Um, Big crossover game. Just a bunch of characters in a bunch of levels. Like, the possibilities are endless, and I kind of love it.
That's what we said about X over though.
That's true, but from what we've seen, like, you you at least move around.
Yeah,
Like,
so
properly.
I gotta give him this. At least in X Dive, you actually control your character, so they're already leaps and bounds ahead of crossover or X over or whatever you feel like calling
However you say it, yeah.
yeah, so they've already got a step up from that. So this is coming off the heels of those cryptic clues that Proto Dude was dropping with pictures of cell phones and scrambled eggs and whatnot, and mentioning something along the lines of Rockman crossover heavily influenced this game, but is not following that game. And so this says to me that this is basically the Rockman crossover that we had hoped for. This is basically what we wanted, instead of that weird auto-scrolling, auto-playing, boss-skipping, stage-skipping collectathon that was crossover.
That game was so weird.
It's kind of a shame too, because like it had some amazing production art,
Yeah.
really great character designs, but just
yep,
the
I was about to say
game,
that the designs.
the game was just garbage. But we're let's not talk about garbage. We're gonna talk about what seems to be a shining beacon of hope in the Mega Man community right now.
Definitely a step in the right direction, especially if you're a Mega Man X fan, like like me, because X is my favorite series. Out of all of them.
It's a lot of people's favorite series, so it really does deserve good treatment.
Yes. Well, I want to start off with just the two things that kind of irk me about it. It's not even that bad, but I want to get that out of the way so we can just kind of gush for the rest of it.
Okay, makes sense.
So the first one is, the one that everybody's saying, oh, it's on mobile, blah, blah, blah. I'm not too hurt by that. It's just, I don't have the best phone.
Yeah.
But I think I should be able to get it on the iPad as well. So I can just do that and connect a controller to it, and that'll be fine. Because it's controller support, and that's cool.
There's actually an alternative just to alleviate this problem. Now, I don't think it's illegal to do this. Don't quote me on this, okay? I don't want anyone breathing down my neck. But I'm pretty sure you can run Android on your computer if you get like an Android emulator.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today.
That's going to be my preferred method to play. Yeah, because I want to stream it. So that's going to be my preferred method to play. Is I'm just going to download BlueStacks and just like I'll buy a legitimate copy of the game, obviously, because you need to in order to play it. It's not like we're emulating a ROM or something, but you are emulating the operating system. But I don't think that's illegal. I think you can do that. And
yeah, I think as long as you have a legitimate copy, it shouldn't be a problem.
So I don't really, I have an Android phone, so I'm going to be emulating Android, and I'm going to be playing it on my computer, so I think it'll be okay. And that would also allow us to get really high quality captures and stuff, so that'd be great.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about mobile, and you want another way of playing it, that's an alternative for you. Don't think that just because you have like a bad phone or an old phone or an incompatible phone that this game is totally off limits to you. Just a little bit of research and a little bit of work will get you an Android emulation on your computer, and then you should be able to play it. So it won't be too bad. I think everyone will have a chance to play this awesome game.
Yeah, and the other thing that just kind of has me not really worried, but I guess cautiously optimistic, is that the weapons you have some sort of cooldown. Like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that big a deal, but,
Yeah, I don't know what
you
that
know, like,
gauge means. Where I saw
yeah,
for some of them, it's like 100 out of 100 Z Saber slashes, and then another
yeah.
one is like 50 out of 50 shots with an X Buster. But I don't know what that means yet.
Well, there was one clip where you can see it, like, refilling, like, the numbers are slowly ticking up.
Mm.
So, like, I guess just so you can't just spam too much?
Yeah,
I don't know, like, I don't
maybe
want it to
there's
get
gonna
in the
be
way,
like
you know?
upgrading or something. There's gonna be some sort of like.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe that's what it's gonna be. Who knows?
Yeah,
It,
it's
it
too early to say.
Yeah, I think it's too early in development to say what it's going to be. Maybe what they'll do is there's going to be a cooldown, and maybe they'll implement like a character switch. Because I noticed that
Oh,
X has, in one of the screenshots I saw, X has an icon for his X Buster, but then there's also an icon next to his health bar for a Z Saber. So does
yes,
that mean
yes.
that he has the Z Saber, or will that switch you to 0?
Yeah, like, when I
So
saw that, I was thinking that it was a, like a special equip weapon
well,
of some sort,
here's another
but a
thing.
character switch I would probably like even more.
And here's another thing to keep in mind. I saw in another screenshot for X, next to his health bar is where I believe it had the picture of the weapon with like the 50 out of 50 or whatever it was. But then the
Yeah, I'm looking
boss
at that.
also had a health bar that it was structured the same way, and it had like some number out of 100. So I'm thinking, what if that 50 is not actually 50 shots of an X Buster, but 50% health? Because keep in mind, when X has all the heart tanks, it doubles his health. So that means he's only at half capacity of what his maximum is. And so maybe those icons that you're seeing are not to tell you how many shots you have of something, but maybe that's just a health indicator next to a bar, so that you can see how many units of health out of 100 or out of 50 that you have. So maybe pressing the Z Saber or pressing the X Buster will switch you to either your ranged character or your melee character. That's
Oh, yeah.
because then
Okay.
you can see how many units of health your ranged character has and how many units of health your melee character has without having it take up any more screen real estate. Like, for instance, in X8, your health bar is put horizontally across the top of the screen, and they're kind of like layered next to each other, so that your character's health bar is like kind of large, and then like the secondary character's health bar is more thin. But it's like behind the other one, but you can still see it. So on a
Yeah.
mobile game, to alleviate that, since you can't really have two health bars taking up too much screen real estate, they might get around that by just saying, like, here's your health out of 100, and then here's your other character's health out of 100. And then hitting that will let you switch. Because keep in mind, in this game, you're not just playing as X or Zero. You're playing as X, Alia, Zero, and Marino, which I believe are the 4 confirmed characters so far. And presumably Axel's going to be in the mix because, there's pictures of Axel and
Vile.
even Vile. So
Cinnamon.
maybe the icons right now are just placeholder icons to showcase what kind of character they are and not indicative of what they use. For instance, there's a picture of Zero and there's also a Buster icon there. And I'm like, well, that's the X1 Buster, but this is like Z-Saber Zero. He doesn't have that Buster anymore. I don't think they would have made an oversight by giving him the wrong icon.
And Alia also has that same Buster.
Yeah, and exactly.
On her screenshot.
And Alia has the same one, and we know that from X8, if she's going to play like an X clone, she would also have an X Buster. So that leads me to believe that this icon is actually just saying, like, this is what kind of character it is, and this is how much health they have, and not like a limit on how many attacks you can do.
Yeah.
That's my theory. I don't know.
Now that you brought that up, now that's what I want. And if it's not that, I'm not gonna be disappointed.
Sorry, I didn't mean to raise your hopes.
So, it's really interesting the characters that they showed already. So, as you said, we have X, Zero, Axel, Marino, Cinnamon, Alia, and Vile. Like, those are the ones that are in
That's
the
a lot,
key art.
honestly.
Yeah. And it also shows Command Mission X.
Yes, there is a picture of Command Mission X, and I wonder if that's just an alternate skin, or if he's gonna do something else. I remember a while ago, Proto Dude teased that image on Twitter for like a minute, and then it got deleted or something.
Really?
I
Oh, I didn't know
remember
about that.
someone saw it, and then they sent it to me immediately. And they were like, "What does this mean? What does this mean?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So I don't know, you know, but now I know what it means. It means that Command Mission X is in this game.
Mhm. I
I
heard somewhere that he's that X is the main character.
really, I mean, that would
But
make sense if it's
I haven't double checked
well,
it, but
that's the thing. Are they treating that X as an alternate X? Like, is it a different person, or is it just like, no, this is the default look for X in this game?
yeah, I don't know. Like maybe it's like timeline shenanigans because like the story sounds like Extreme 1
It's a
where
mixture of
a
Extreme
computer
1
messes
and
up.
also like Smash Bros. Because I don't believe they're taking the story super seriously.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
because they're including you the player as a character in the story, and they
Mm-hmm.
make references multiple times to the game world, and they're not treating it
Right.
like it's an actual thing, which is good because that means that
They
you can
can
have
go
a lot
bananas.
yeah, you can have a lot more fun with it. You don't have to be tied down to anything. You can basically just say like, like, oh, it's the game world, and so now we can take anything that we like and smash it together, and there doesn't have to be an in-canon reason. Like, we don't have to explain why Cinnamon and Marino are with X0 and Axel, in the intro stage to X1 fighting the first form of Vile. Like, you can just do whatever you want now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
I kind of hope it reaches really deep. This conversation is probably going to be all over the place, but I hope it kind of reaches deeper, and it'll use boss fights from the Vile mode of Maverick Hunter X, because I want to see one of the boss fights be X and Zero at the same time.
mm,
Like imagine being Axel or something and fighting X and Zero.
that would be cool. I would like
That'd
to
be
see.
pretty neat.
I want to see extreme characters get some modern representation.
Aha,
Because
yes.
we've got, from the screenshots we've seen, there's intro stage bosses from X2 and X3 popping up in places where they don't normally belong. For instance, apparently the intro boss for X2 showed up in Flame Mammoth stage
Flame Mammoth, yep.
based
yep.
on what someone identified from an image. And
Yep, I'm looking at it right
now. The X3 intro stage boss was on the X1 intro stage. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like the highway.
I'm not entirely sure. I have to take a closer look. I don't have it in front of me. But if they're gonna really scramble everything and they're remastering basically characters and places from these games, I'm hoping that they don't forget about Extreme, because Extreme has some really cool characters in it. I would love to see Zane and Camille come back. I think that would be really cool.
Burkana and what was his name? Gimel?
Gareth.
Gareth, yes.
I would love to see them come back, and I really hope that Gareth's lion makes an appearance in this.
Oh yes.
His lion.
Yeah.
I can't remember the artist's name off the top of my head. I mentioned them in one of my videos. We'll put the name in there somewhere later. They were disappointed that the lion never got made it into the game. And it was their wish that you can just pretend the lion is always following Gareth, even though you never see it. Just please pretend that it's there because he loves that lion so much. So I would love it if this is a chance to have that character come back, because Extreme 2 was a chance for Iris to come back, because they were like, oh,
it happened before
Iris.
X4.
Yeah. They're like, we really like Iris, and this game takes place before she dies, so we would like to stick her in the game somehow, or whatever. So maybe this is going to take notes from the Extreme series, since it is kind of following a similar premise, and, maybe they'll bring back characters who we haven't been able to see, and now maybe we'll get to see them in, all their glory, because Burkana is a cool as hell villain, and Gareth is a cool as hell design, and the lion is super cool. And man, there's so much potential there to just do some really awesome stuff.
On the topic of characters that don't get enough love, I really want to see the characters from the Mega Mission cards.
Oh, that would
get
be
some love.
interesting.
That and even the limited versions of the Mavericks, like Storm Eagle Limited looks so cool.
And you know, this is their chance to do that kind of thing, because like I said, it doesn't have to follow anything.
Yeah.
It can basically be whatever. So, you know, you can take bosses from any game, you can take characters from any part of Mega Man X history, and you can throw them in there. Oh, how cool would it be if you could fight Ix?
Oh.
Oh. X or Return X or whatever you want to call him. It's the green angsty Linkin Park listening X character. He's
Oh my
so
God.
cool.
No, what if you fight him and then you can play as him?
If you could
Because
he would just be an X
he
clone.
said there's no gotcha elements.
There are no gotcha elements. So here's
or
my
little
thing.
to no.
Here's how I think they're going to make their money. You start the game playing as X and Zero by default, right? Because that's obvious. And then every other character is probably like going to be something you need to buy, which I'm fine with because that makes sense to me. It's like, well, you can play as X and Zero, the game is fully functional, and then if you want to do these other characters, you need to pay for it, which I think is totally fair. It's like getting DLC characters in any other game.
Yeah.
I think that that's totally fine. You know, this way you can only pay for the characters that you want, and you get the 2 basic ones. You know, so like that would be really interesting. You know, and actually, speaking of characters, here's something that I think is interesting. I saw one particular image that had 4 screenshots of the game, and it seemed to have had X and Zero, and then it was Alia and Marino on like the same sides. So here's my prediction. Alia is an X clone, so that you have like a female projectile character, and Marino is going to be a female Zero clone, so that you have a female melee character. But then here's where things get a little weird. So that's fine for those 4 characters. There's an even number of characters. You've got X and Zero, and then you have their female counterparts. That's even. But then there's Vile, Axel, and Cinnamon. And so that makes me wonder, okay, we already know how Axel's going to play, but we already know Vile doesn't play that way. So is Vile going to play like Axel? Or if he's not, then how is Cinnamon going to play? Cinnamon, in Command Mission, doesn't have projectile attacks. She's another melee fighter. Really, she's a healer class. She's not actually meant to fight. She actually literally runs up and slaps you, and that's how she does damage. So is she going to be like another Zero clone? Like, how does this work? So I'm curious how things are going to go. I can see Cinnamon, strangely enough, being a Vile clone, in that she might use some sort of, like, I don't know, like magical energy stuff or something like that, because she's very, she has like a very magic theme around her. So maybe she could just shoot off different kinds of energy in different directions or something like that. But then I wonder, like, who's Axel's clone going to be, if he even gets one? You know what I mean?
I was kind of thinking about that maybe the basis of, you know, because I think the whole selling point to this is going to be different characters in all these levels, right? I think there's going to be like 3 to 5 core playstyles, and each character will be like it'll be like X, but, you know, like Alia's X, but, you know, she doesn't jump as high, but she dashes further.
That's a,
you know, you know what I mean?
And that works too. So here's my prediction then. Going off of this, we already know that there's 4 distinct playstyles in the X series that exist. There's X, Zero, Axel, and Vile from Maverick Hunter X. So that's 4, right? And we already know, based on reports from Protodude, that this game is built off of a modified Maverick Hunter X engine, which I believe is the same engine they used for X8 and the same engine they used for Powered Up, and the same engine they used for Mega Man Universe. So it's not far-fetched for them to just grab Vile and just plop him into this game as is, maybe with like an updated model, because obviously the models look really good in this.
Yes.
And I'm guessing that's probably how they're going to do it. So Vile is probably going to be like a 1-to-1 conversion from his Maverick Hunter X version, which is great. That's probably also why in the artwork they featured his X1 design and not any other one, because that's the one that already exists.
Yeah,
So
and it's specifically the Maverick Hunter X design because
yes.
he's got the V on his head, not the Maverick symbol.
Right, and so that makes me wonder, like, how is this going to work? So I think, like you said, it's probably going to be this character, and then there's like a difference. So, for instance, in X8, if you were to play as the Navigators, they would all play like their male counterparts, except they couldn't use certain items. So Aelia worked exactly like X, except she can't charge up weapons, and she doesn't get any of the armor upgrades. So it's
she was naked X.
yeah, it's basically like default X, and same thing with Lair. She's just default 0. And I think she can still use the Sigma Blade though, which is like
She can.
It's just overpowered. So I mean, that's really nothing changes there. But yeah, so there's like little differences between each character, and same thing for Pallet, who plays just like Axel. So it's probably going to, but I think for this game specifically, they're going to actually try to mix it up more. I hope they implement the aspects from X8 that I really liked, where each character has a different dash length.
Yes.
So X is like the default baseline for everything. Then 0 has a really fast dash speed, but it's very short distance, so he can like zip around like really quickly. And then Axel had a slow dash, but he can dash like almost indefinitely. Like he just keeps going.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe like they're going to implement some of those changes to Aelia. Like you said, maybe Aelia isn't as fast, but she can dash for longer. But she plays just like X. So you can play as X, but you can play as X with some slight modifications. Just like if you can play as Marino, I would love it if Marino, maybe she gets like Axel's dodge roll instead of like a dash, so that she can like avoid.
Yeah.
Because Axel has a dodge roll built in, but maybe Marino doesn't have a dash at all, and her dash is just a dodge roll or something. And like maybe she can use that to avoid damage, and like maybe she can cling to walls because she's a ninja. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's how the shadow armor did.
Exactly. So I'm wondering if she could do that. I like to imagine she could probably attack really fast too. She has one of those like stiletto knives or whatever behind her back, and I think that would suit her playstyle to be like very quick attacks versus Zero's like heavier hitting sword attacks.
Well, what was the There was one leg upgrade that X had. I think it was one of them at X8.
Yeah,
where he dashed and it was he was like invisible.
It's the I believe it's the Hermes armor, the Hermes leg part, where when he dashes he goes invisible.
Like that makes sense for a ninja character, you know.
Yeah, I mean X did kind of look like a ninja in X8, so that makes sense. That just makes me wonder, like I said, how is besides Marino, I get it, she's going to be a 0 clone probably if she is. Maybe who knows? Maybe she'll have her own playstyle. I don't know.
Oh my god! If they all have their own playstyle, it's gonna be nuts.
But then it makes me wonder, how the heck does Cinnamon play? Cinnamon isn't. She is not built for like, you can't even put her into a side-scrolling game and have it make sense, because Marino is a ninja, so whatever, just ninja attack. Maybe she'll play like Strider. That'd be really cool. Could you imagine?
Yes.
Man, could you imagine if we just play through a Mega Man stage, but like Strider style? No, that would be cool, and that would make sense because Strider's a Capcom property. So that would be. Oh man, Capcom, if you're listening, it's not too late. Please.
Yep, you get that one for free.
You get that one for free. That's a sick idea. I don't care who you are. But again, I have to speculate. I know Vile's got to be playable. That's the only thing that makes sense, because it's coming from the Maverick Hunter X engine. But then that leaves Cinnamon, and that's so confusing. How does she play? How does Cinnamon work?
Maybe instead of having a second playable character, you get like a utility character that comes out and then does something. Like Cinnamon can come out and heal you or something, or like you could use the Z-Saber one that you were talking about under the health bar, and it'll be like the 0 summons in Extreme 1, where 0 would come out and do like a limit break type attack,
right?
And it would just hurt the enemy and he would leave. It might be something like that.
So
there'd be a whole secondary set of utility characters.
That's true. So that would mean that the artwork that we're seeing could be misleading in telling us how many characters are playable, and really it's probably just going to be X, 0, Axel, Aelia, and Marino, so that's 5 playable characters, and then I guess everyone else would be support. Well, that just basically means that Cinnamon's just there for eye candy.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a thought based on...
Right. Who can
You know, like,
say?
this could go anywhere.
I'm curious to see what exactly Cinnamon can do, if anything, because she's not a combatant. She's a healer character.
Oh my god. I just want the Strider Marino so bad.
Strider Marino would be sick, because she runs like Strider. She's got like the weapon behind her back like Strider. It's gonna be Strider. It has to be Strider style. Okay.
Yeah.
She's got she holds
the
weapon behind her back, backhanded style. It's gonna be Strider. It has to be.
They could do that, and then, I mean, if they drop the ball on that, we can wait until they put the shadow armor in, and then do a redemption roll. You know.
That's true. That also makes me wonder if what is Command Mission X going to be like? What is he going to do?
I was about to bring that up. Yeah, because
is he going to play different, or is he going to have like maybe his charge shot shoots like multiple blasts all around and they home in on targets or something? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he's got that ultimate armor, you know, whatever it was called.
Oh yeah, well he has like
got all the Gatling guns and stuff.
Yeah, he's got 2 armors in that game. One is X-Fire armor. Well, it's just called X-Fire. I don't know if that's the name of the armor. And then he has the ultimate armor, which is different from the other ultimate armor, which is in a class of... There's 3 ultimate armors at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can call them the ultimate armor. It's kind of like, you know, having Final Fantasy 16. It's like, it's not really final, is it? Yeah, he becomes like Super Dimensional Fortress Macross over here, and he gets like all these weapons on him and stuff, and a chest laser like Tony Stark, and it's...
Oh man, Robotech X.
Yeah, exactly. It gets insane. You know, when I was little, I did a drawing of that.
Oh man,
I made like a Veritech X armor. It was pretty neat, but
if you can find it, send it to me, and I'll put it in the video.
It's long gone.
Oh man,
this is like we're going back to like middle school when Robotech was on the air.
Sometimes, you know, you find stuff in a drawer and you're like, oh my god, I remember this.
Maybe, I don't know. If I find it, I'll let you know, but I can guarantee it's not going to be in time for this video.
Viewers at home, pretend like you saw it, and it was fantastic.
Pretend what it would be like if X was a Veritech, okay? And that's probably what it looked like. Now pretend a 5-year-old drew it, and there you
go. Okay, back to, you know, Command Mission X, and just being different. I wonder if eventually every X armor is going to be like a different character, because each one like
I don't know
plays slightly different. You know, like X2 has the air dash and the double shot. X3 has the up dash, the air dash.
Well, there's also a lot of overlap with those, so it makes you wonder, like, are they? Maybe it'll just be skins. It's probably just going to be skins, I would imagine, because you have to think, if they included all of those, like, how many armors is that? There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for X8, plus the ultimate armor.
The ultimate armor,
so that's 13, plus the other ultimate armor from X8, that's 14. Plus the X-Fire, that's 15, plus the Command Mission Ultimate Armor, that's 16. So, I mean, do we really need 16 versions of X running around?
Plus the Mega Mission armors.
Plus the Mega Mission armors, which are basically all the same.
Oh my god, if we got the Mega Mission Zero armors, I've wanted to play as those ever since I saw the model kits when I was a kid.
I
have
the model kit for X, the full armor... All X, whatever it's called.
The All X? Yeah.
But I never got the Zero ones, because Zero basically just got really big shoulder pads and a new buster, and his armor turned clear. So I was like, as a kid, I was trying to ration out the variety. I'm like, this doesn't have enough variety, therefore I want, you know, this other one. So I never got the Zero model kit, but I have the X one. I have Return X. Return X is cool.
Yeah, I've got that one. I had to wait until college to get most of them. When I was a kid, the only ones I could get a hold of was the Black Zero from X3.
Yo, I have it.
And
that one.
Tornado Fang.
I have the Black Zero model kit from Bandai, but it is not colored like any version of Black Zero anywhere.
Is it the one with the purple like like biceps and thighs.
I think so. And he has like
And
he has like yellow
blue
gems on his chest.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's the same one.
I don't
That's the same
know
one that I
why
have.
he's not colored like anything in the game. It's not colored like the one from X2, and it's not colored like the one from X4.
Nope.
So
Yeah, the box was labeled as X3, so that confused me so hard as a kid.
yeah, and you know that's probably because it came out around the time of X3, which is probably why they had that. Because they only started making figures like that when.
Yeah, those model kits were X3, X4 era.
It started
primarily.
with X3, then it went up through X4, and on the tail end of X5, and it also, I guess, included Mega Man 8. But
there were some X6 because you could like
there
on
was some
very
X6.
very late editions of the model kits you could get
parts of the Shadow Armor
you could get
and
Pete's
the
for
Falcon
Yep.
Armor. Well, that was X5.
Oh, man.
I have the
yeah,
Shadow
that was
Armor
cool.
helmet. I don't have the rest of them though. I want to get
Really?
them, but it's like collecting the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, they're really rare.
To get the entire Shadow Armor kit is like $600 if you were to buy them online. People are selling all the parts to it, like the model kits, and it's like $600. And then one guy was selling a completed pre-built Shadow Armor, which I don't really want that. I feel like it kills the fun for me. But he was selling that one for like $400. And buying each of those kits now is like $60 a piece, so it's like insane.
They're so expensive for like $20 kits.
So I have the
back in
helmet,
day.
and I'm satisfied with the helmet for now.
Yeah.
So
You know what? Speaking of those model kits, they were very mix and match, and I wonder if in this game you can mix and match.
well,
So
here's
that's my version of a segue.
Well, here's
because you
another
know what,
thing,
like
too.
the Z Buster, you know, like does it look like the Z Buster or is it just a placeholder like you said?
So that's another thing. Protodude mentioned that there was plans to have a build your own Reploid element in this.
Yeah.
Which I think is like really cool. Maybe there is going to be some sort of mix and match element. Like you can get like a double jump and you can get like an air dash. And you can get like Marino's melee style. I don't know, maybe something like that. Like maybe there's some sort of, you know, checks and balances for how you can make a character, which would be really sick. Which is what I was hoping for Rockman Online, that they would have like a character creation thing. But instead you just played as clones of existing characters, which really baffled me. So maybe it's for the best that game was canceled. No, I'm kidding. Please don't go to the comment section. I'm joking. I wanted to play that game really badly. I'm just kidding.
I did too.
It looked like a lot of fun.
It's still heartbreaking.
Yeah,
It's still heartbreaking.
Capcom is like, they're slowly trying to claw their way back out from like that grave they dug themselves by canceling everything. But they're not. They're not like willing to like completely like release their grasp on the franchise yet. So they're like they threw something at us and they're like, it's Mega Man 11, have fun. And then we were like, oh my god, we love Mega Man so much, and Capcom's like, well, I'll give you a mobile game. Like they just give us like a little tease because they're like, I'm not really sold on this whole Mega Man thing yet.
Yeah. Mega who?
That blue guy? I think he used to be on our website a lot. I don't know.
I think he he played with them Street Fighters once. Yeah, that guy.
He played against the Street Fighter guys that once. A real fat guy, right? He wears yellow a lot. He has a handgun. It's like, god damn it. Capcom. Like, I'm telling you, Capcom has this really weird, like they dip their toes in the water very gently, like, like they don't want to they don't want to just jump in back to Mega Man, which I understand to a degree. But I don't know. It's kind of like Protodude said. He goes, "You're going to be asking why wasn't this on console? Because it looks like a console quality game, but it's on your phone for some reason. Like I hope they port it to Steam or something. I'd play it there.
Oh my god, yeah. Or like, there's a bunch of like mobile.
Why limit it if it's
mobile on the Switch?
If it's going to be free to play, why are you limiting it to mobile? Like just stick it on Steam. I would play that.
Yeah, well, maybe it's to like gauge interest. It's like, okay, there's a lot of people. Let's put some more resources behind it and throw it on the Switch and on Steam. That would be
something
just
like
brilliant.
that. Yeah, I mean, just give us something, please. Like, I am totally down for playing a new Mega Man X game, and I don't care
Oh,
what
yes.
platform it's on. I just think mobile is baffling. Like, if you want to do a mobile version, fine, but also do a regular home console version, because I think this,
Yeah.
if this is even a quarter as appealing as they're making it seem, I would play this anywhere. I would play this on anything. It doesn't have to be on a phone.
Yeah, it's interesting because you know the Mega Man X project?
Yeah.
This is like that, but just beefed up to 11, you know, because it's like, oh, it's the
awful
Zero
walls.
project, but also the Axel project for X1 and 2 and 4, you know, like all of them.
Yeah, they threw everything into a blender, and now you just get to play as all that stuff.
It's so amazing. Like it's the kind of thing that you would like talk about with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wouldn't it be cool if you fought Armored Armadillo, but you were Axel?
Yeah.
But then you also had the Z Saber, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of, you know, like freestyle thing. Well, I mean, that's why Smash Brothers is so popular, because the idea was just like, well, what if you just took like Nintendo characters and just made them all fight each other? Like, who would win? And it was great, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, why are they fighting? Who cares?
Who cares?
They're
It's
toys.
fun, exactly. Just have fun with it, which is why I like this idea. Like, here's the thing. A lot of people ask me often, like, if you could have any kind of Mega Man game, what would you have? And I'm like, I don't know. I'd pick something crazy, like a Dynasty Warriors clone. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to play Mega Man brand games that aren't necessarily 2D platformers. You can go into other genres and explore the Mega Man universe that way. Like, you can do like this, a fun crossover game. Okay, it's a platformer, yes, even though I just got done saying it doesn't have to be. But the point is, it's a crossover game, and you can pick characters and stages from anything and weapons, and you just go nuts, have fun, you know? Just like, I would totally be down if they were like, oh, well, we want to do like a new Mega Man kart racer, and they gave us like Battle and Chase 2 or something, and it's characters from every part of the Mega Man franchise. Like, Mega Man on its own has enough variety to like be multiple IPs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
other crossover games usually take from other IPs and then cross over. No, Mega Man can cross over with itself. That's how many there are. You know?
I'm surprised that it just hasn't happened.
And with all this kart racing
when it was
boom,
in
give us another one.
heyday, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, like, with all the kart racers out there, between Mario Kart basically just rehashing itself every year, Crash Team Racing, or Nitro Kart, whatever the heck it's called, Sonic Team Racing, all that other stuff, like all these things, they're all doing these kart racers, and the only person who hasn't jumped on the bandwagon yet is Mega Man. And they did it way back in the day, which was great, you know, back for the Saturn and PS1, but, you know, can you do it again? Because that would be so much fun. Or if kart racers aren't your thing, because Capcom's not really known for making stellar racing games, why not do it like a Mega Man crossover fighter? Like, you have like a sizable number of characters.
Yeah.
Just give us like just Mega Man fighting All-Stars or something, and then throw in a bunch of random characters from each game, and that would be really awesome. You know?
You know what? Like, on the topic of arcade games that are never gonna happen, I really wanted a version of Power Battles, but Mega Man X. Like, I wanted that so bad, but...
Well, that's why I'm saying if they would just do like a Mega Man fighting game thing,
yeah,
that
just a
would
straight fighting game would be pretty cool, because
then
there's
you'd have-
so many characters.
You could have X, Zero, Axel, Vile, Sigma, you know, Mega Man, Proto Man, Bass, Duo, like all these characters from all across the Mega Man franchise. You know, most of which have already had, like, most of the main characters have already had, like, adaptations.
Yep.
Out of all the fighting games, we have had X, Zero, Mega Man 00, Walnut, Tronbon, Servbot,
Mega Man and Roll.
Mega Man and Roll, Sigma recently.
Sigma, yeah.
So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's like 9 characters. I'm sure. Oh, Mega Man EXE was also a playable character. In what the heck is it called? Onimusha Blade Warriors. So that's 10. So I mean, like, you can draw from all these different places, and they're just not doing it. So seeing something like X DiVE is like making my imagination run wild. Because I just wish that this Capcom of today had the same kind of like initiative and, for lack of a better term, I wish they had like the balls to do things like this, because they just don't really do that anymore. They're very playing it safe. Not that they don't put out good games now and then, but back in the day, in like the 90s and early 2000s, Capcom was like, yeah, let's take a risk, let's go for it, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
let's stick Mega Man EXE in a fighting game based in feudal Japan. Like, why not? You know,
Why not?
You
Yeah.
know, so they would do stuff like that, and I wish they would, you know, revisit that kind of creativity. So maybe X DiVE is a step in the right direction. Who knows?
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of, you know, like hope and happiness for it, but you know, there's always those people. It's like, oh, it's a mobile game. That's the last straw. You know, like I saw that today. I'm like, you got to give it a chance before you.
People say things like, oh, it's a mobile game, but like, first of all, one thing you need to understand: in Japan, mobile is massive. Okay.
Yes.
It is not the
Yes.
same here in America. In America, when you hear mobile game, you think of things like Candy Crush and like Angry Birds and
Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird, basically glorified Flash games. You know what I'm saying? Just like things like that. They're just Flash games, basically. But that's not the case in Japan. In Japan, there's actually a ton of games that you know, actually go to mobile that are like full-fledged games. So here's an example, because Bonus Level is a big fan of Professor Layton. I'm pretty sure all the Professor Layton games, which are originally released on DS and 3DS and stuff like that, they're all on mobile now, and they all have high resolution. Like, I think they're remastered, aren't they? Right, hon? They're working on remastering all of them on mobile from level 5.
Wow.
So
Wow.
they're taking games that released on a handheld, like actual dedicated handheld system, like, you know, a Nintendo handheld, and they're moving them over to mobile ports. So in Japan, it's a totally different world. So when you hear, oh, it's mobile, don't just give up like that, okay? When you hear mobile, the first question you should be asking is this American mobile or like Japanese mobile?
Yeah.
Because Japanese mobile is more close to real, proper, actual games. And the fact that we're getting a Mega Man X game that just from the screenshots and gameplay looks like it's like all of the screenshots show them sticking the phone in a controller holder thing. Like, they're saying, no, you need to play this with a controller because it's a real game. Like, that says to me that they're not messing around, and I think that you should give it a lot more credit.
Yeah, and you know, it's not a flip phone game from 2005.
Yeah, we're not talking about,
No.
you know, Mega Man Legends' big adventure on 5 islands, which, to be fair, was actually a very impressive piece of technology, you know, on an old Japanese flip phone. No, we're not talking like Snake on your calculator or something. You know, this is like a fully fledged Mega Man game from the looks of it, and that was,
Snake.
I mean, somewhere
Oh
out.
no, I'm completely with you. I would play that. I would play that on a Nokia phone like that my mom owned. Like when I was at like a school function, and she was like, "All right, call me when it's time to leave," and I would just sit there and play Snake.
Somewhere out there,
I get it, man.
Somewhere out there, Snake Man's like, and what's wrong with Snake?
No, he's like, what's wrong with snakes?
Oh my goodness. Okay, you can edit this out, but I really want to just be like, guards, guards! Mega Man is escaping! Or whatever he says in French.
Oh no, that's staying in.
No! Guards, guards! I was waiting for Mega Man to grow a twirly mustache. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I miss Mega March. That was so much fun.
Continued in part 2.